good to be back. Good
Yeah,
to
it is.
Yeah.
Good to be back in this building. Feels like we played everywhere but here most of the season. So I know the players are anxious to play here as well, and I just think being home is going to be really, really good for us. I was talking to some of the players about, they said that Thursday was the first time that they actually felt, the cumulative effect of all these games and all this travel, on their legs and the time spent. And it's natural, that's just natural. So hopefully after tomorrow, there'll be more of a settling into a routine. It's been anything but routine, for the longest time now.
Is it good that classes are starting to also help get them into that?
I think so. I've always said that period between like January 5th, 6th, 10th to the 21st, whatever, is really difficult. When you have to get up in the morning and you're up and at 'em and you're doing a whole bunch of things, and I think that's good for you. I think when you have a lot of free time and you have a lot of dead time and you become very sluggish. So I think kids do better with a routine. So this will be good for them.
You'd said after the UCF game that this team specifically needed kind of to be challenged, needed to kind of get a little bit tougher, and that you thought those games this past week did that. Can you just kind of expand on that, like why they need that and what you think they got from those tough games this week?
Well, yeah, because I think as the season goes on, there's going to be, whether it's during the regular season or the postseason, there aren't going to be big games where they're just going to be easy. They're just going to be, blowouts. A lot of the games are going to be hard fought, like the Baylor game where for 35 minutes, it was a big, a big game. And we didn't perform well the last 4.5 minutes. So the more times we're in those situations, the more times, you can go over it in practice anytime you want, but you have to be in games. You have to make big shots in games. You have to get a stop in games. You got to make free throws in games. So the more times these kids are in that situation, I think sometimes we forget that, things just don't roll into the next thing as easily as we've made it look, Like, there are a lot of teams that over the years, they fluctuate like this based on who graduates, who they have coming in, some injuries, some transfers, whatever the case may be. And that never happens to us. And I think sometimes we have this impression that it'll never happen to us. We'll never be like that. We'll always be, putting 5 WNBA players on the floor that just start every game on a 20-2 run like the Houston game, and that every game is going to be like that. And the reality of the situation is it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be like that. There's not one kid on this team playing this year that has the same role they had last year. Not one. So everything that happens to them is brand new. Everything. So there's going to be times when it looks really, really bad. It looks lousy. It looks disjointed. It looks like it's a struggle because, a lot of these guys were like the second, third, fourth, fifth options last year on offense. And now they're being asked to, do something that it's not easy to do. We're asking Liv to be like Fisa. There's not a player in the country like Fisa. Anywhere, last year or this year. And now we're asking a kid who hardly played last year to be FISA. Just can't happen. Can't happen. And we're asking Anna to come in here and be Lou. It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So, you know, it's a real reality check for a lot of people that, and for everybody watching us or everybody, you know, that follows women's basketball. It's a miracle that we've not suffered some of the same things that other people suffer. When's the last time we lost by 30 to a top 10 team?
2007.
By 30?
When's the last time we lost by 30 to a top 10 team?
Ever?
Ever. We're seeing that happen a lot these days. When's the last time we lost to a team that had no business beating us?
St. John's.
Right. So how is it everybody in the country but us? So, you know, sometimes, you know, you look and say, well, you're not where you used to be. Who is? Who is? Tell me who is where they used to be and stays there for 25 years? Nobody. Nobody but us. So when it doesn't look good, it's what's wrong with you guys? And I think, I'd be honest with you, my kids are sick of this. My kids are sick of answering questions about why we're not what we used to be, why we don't win like we used to, why things don't look like they used to. They are really kind of sick of listening to it, sick of answering those questions. Since when do you have to apologize for winning a game? Why? Because we've won so much that now even winning is not enough? I'll be honest with you. It really is. It really is. So, you know, I understand, you know, why sometimes it just becomes like a real weight to carry around. Now, hey, you know, you can say, well, you know, that's why you came here. Really? Came here to win games. We're 16-1. Why do I have to answer why we're not winning by enough, or why we miss so many shots, or why we turn the ball over, or why? Like, why? I thought the object was to win the game. That's what I thought. If the object isn't to win the game, then why are they keeping score? So it's a lot. It's a lot going on, and it's a lot to have to digest. And, you know, for the last 25 years, year after year after year after year after year, you know, we become like death and taxes, you know? We're automatic. So count on three things, right? Death, taxes, and UConn being number one in the country and undefeated and rolling through everybody and being up 40 at halftime. And the parade is what year or what day? Where's the parade route in Hartford? And then all of a sudden you realize, you know what? Easy as we make it look. Because if it was, there wouldn't be a lot of teams that used to be or are or supposed to be really, really good getting their ass kicked on a regular basis.
Where does Anna stand right now? It seems like she's slowly piecing everything together, and even though she'll have a game full of turnovers or she doesn't score as much, she still looks like she's making strides.
No, she's way better. You know, I think the period right before Christmas was a real struggle for her because, you know, she has this pride that she wants to be a really, really good player, and she puts a lot of pressure on herself. And when she wasn't playing well, shooting well, whatever, it really took its toll on her. And, you know, she's found a different mindset to live in. So she's much more comfortable. She's much more aggressive. She's become better defensively. She's less apprehensive about missing shots. Like, what if I miss a shot? If I miss a shot, I miss a shot. And, you know, I'm more encouraging her. It's not about whether you make or miss the shot. It's, I need you to take those shots. So does everybody on the team. We don't need you to pass them up because the last one didn't go in. So she's in a really good place right now, and I think we can keep making it better and better and better for her, and she's going to make it better for us, for sure.
Will the change be when she has a game where she makes a few shots and all of a sudden just thinks to herself, you know what, I actually can do that here?
No, I mean, I think she's feeling that way now. I think she's feeling, but I don't think she'll ever be in a position where, as a freshman, I got this and I'm going to be okay now. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but I just want her to keep being aggressive. That's the number one thing. Keep being aggressive. Keep trying to make a play every time you touch the ball. We really desperately need her playmaking ability, because she's pretty good at knowing where to go with the ball next.
The 89-90 game in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Reunite them. I'm sure it's always exciting for you.
Yeah, Ben found the tape, VHS tape, laying around, I think, of the last game that we played in the field house before that game that we played here 30 years ago. I haven't seen it. I don't even know, but I know at home my wife Kathy found a VHS tape of the Big East Championship game at Seton Hall, which was basically the same team 2 years earlier. But that thing just went, and put it in. So I don't know what Ben can do with that, but it'll be interesting to go back and look at some of those old films and see those kids in action and be able to show them 30 years ago and their kids, and it'll be a lot of fun. So I hope we can pull that together for them. But I'm really excited to see them, and a lot of them haven't been on campus in a long time. A lot of them haven't seen the practice facility. They haven't walked around campus, and seen all the changes. So I'm really anxious to see them. That'll be a lot of fun.
What do you remember from the first time, or the first game at Gampel, or the first time you came in here, and what it was like?
What I remember specifically was that it was so bright because of where we used to play. It was so dark. So it was so bright. The ceiling panels were so white. Everything was so brand new that from the outside, it actually looked like a spaceship had landed in the middle of campus and just sat here. And what I remember is coming out here for the game, and it's not that there were a lot of people in the seats, but the concourse was full of people just leaning over the railing going, what the hell's going on in here? Like they must have been walking by, heard about it, or seen all the lights and said, what the hell's going on in this building? And walked in and just stood all the way around the concourse looking down on the court and watching us play. And we won, which was really cool. But I really remember vividly how bright it was and how curious the people on campus were to see what was going on. I don't remember anything about the game. I remember we won, but I don't remember anything about the game. Nothing. Who made shots, who didn't make shots, what the score was. I don't remember any of that stuff. And I usually have a pretty good memory. But that part I remember. That was really cool.
What do you remember about that team?
That team was I believe that's the year before we went to the Final Four, or yeah. So it was still a relatively young team, but we were on the verge of becoming a pretty good team. because Kerry was a junior, Megan and those guys were sophomores. Laura Lishnas was a junior. So we had a couple kids on the team that, have been playing for 3 years, some with their second year. And that team had great chemistry for 4 years. From the time Megan and those guys got here as freshmen, the whole 4 years, that team had tremendous chemistry on the court, off the court. And we played a style of play that was unique for back in those days. We played 5 out. We shot a ton of threes. There was nobody clogging up the middle. We didn't have anybody that could get to the basket. But we moved without the ball. We were smart. We screamed. We cut. And we made open shots. And we were smart defensively. And we beat a lot of teams that we had no business beating. And it was a lot of fun coaching them. I remember that team when the following year we went to the Final Four. I said, nobody's going to take us seriously because when we get off the plane and they see the other 3 teams, Stanford, Virginia, and Tennessee, they're going to look at us like we're the JV team that just walked in. They have guards bigger than our center. So we're gonna, we're really gonna enjoy it, and we did. That team was. Then Rebecca came and screwed up the whole thing for a couple of years. Then we became famous when Rebecca got here, and that took a couple of years to get used to that. But that particular team was the last of the innocents, pretty much. After that, when Rebecca got here, it got pretty serious. Then things kind of changed.
Could you tell Kerry's junior year that was a team that maybe could break through and go to the Final Four just because of the chemistry?
Well, we weren't sure because we couldn't win an NCAA game. So Megan's freshman year, Kerry's sophomore year, Megan's freshman year was the first year we made the tournament. So we make the tournament and we lose at home. Because we didn't, we thought we were good and we were pretty good, but we were one injury away from not being able to win any games. So that first NCAA game that we ever played in, we were playing great. We were going to win the game, and Kerry Bascom got hurt and didn't play the rest of the game, and we lose. So now the following year, it's like, man, now Kerry's a junior, and now we're playing here. And now we're playing Clemson, and we have a shot to win it at the buzzer. And Kerry, even to this day, if somebody said, pick one player to make a shot to win a game, I'd just as easily pick her. And that sucker hit the net and came out. I don't know how it did that. Hit the rim twice, hit the net, and came out. And we lose. And I thought, we might never win an NCAA tournament game. And then the following year, Kerry had a 3-point play here in the last 30 seconds, and we win the game. And that year, when that year started, when I saw that the regionals were in Philadelphia, I want to say the 21st and 23rd of March. When those regionals were in Philadelphia, I thought, this is a sign. This is something. I think this is something. And that year I thought, if we get in the tournament, we could be pretty good. How good? I think we can get to the regionals. I thought we could get to the regionals. And we did. Then when I saw who was in the regionals, I thought, God damn. NC State's the best team in the country. Clemson's really, really good. Penn State's in that region. But people underestimated us all year, and I think so did those teams.
What did this building mean to you guys? I mean, did it change, the attitude of the team or anything like that?
I don't know what effect it had on that particular team. I just know that from our standpoint, if we didn't have this building, we were never going to be able to be more than, just a run-of-the-mill Big East team. We would be like every other Big East team, like every other team in the Northeast. We would be like a pretty decent team that would play in obscurity, win some games, and nobody would take serious. This building made it possible for us to be considered more than a regional team. This building, if we don't have this building, we don't get the players that we got after Megan and them. We don't get those players. We don't get Rebecca, Pam, Jen, Jamel, Carla, Kara, Keisha. Those guys don't come here. They wouldn't come here. So without this building, we would have just been another team from the Northeast that nobody knew about, nobody cared about, and wasn't going anywhere. So by getting this building, we were able to recruit a certain kind of kid that could make us as good as any team in the country. If we had stayed where we were, we would have stayed what we were. And I would have left. I would have left as soon as I could have. I probably would have left right after the Final Four. Well, we wouldn't have gone to the Final Four. Plain and simple. We probably wouldn't have gone to the Final Four. And CD and I would have been long gone by the time 1995 came around. All righty.